All right, I am here with Alex Cheng of Giga-Robo. Actually, is their parent company? See,
Cardboard Dynamo is the parent
Cardboard
company.
Dynamo. See, I told you there was something I was going to miss asking.
But Giga-Robo is currently our only release.
So, flagship product.
Yeah.
All right, so we're here at Adepticon. It's loud. I'm hoping that the funness of the shotgun mic misses most of it.
Yeah.
But go ahead and give us an overview of Giga-Robo.
Sure. So Giga-Robo is a card-driven miniatures game of giant robot combat. What you do in the full game is that you have unique pilots and unique robots. Any of them can mix and match together. They have unique abilities you select from for both the pilots and the robots. Then they each have decks of cards that are these different attacks, tactics, and these ultimate technique finishing moves. All of your actions in the game are bound to the cards. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a completely customized build. It's not a game with a face-down deck. There's no blind draws. There's no shuffling through and not getting what you need. What you design into your strategy, you get access to immediately. And what you're going to do is you're going to be using all of these cards to battle your opponent across a fully destructible city. The core set comes with 15 plastic buildings and 4 robot miniatures right out of the box. 2 to 4 players can jump in. Also 5 pilots, so there's a ton to mix and match together. And all the buildings, you can use them for cover, you can climb on top of them for combat advantage, and of course, most importantly, you can smash your opponents through them to do tons of damage. What will happen is that there are different impact cards that'll be drawn that dictate what is left in the wake of the destruction, and these impacts are going to change terrain as you play the game. They're going to create different elemental effects that'll do damage to people over time or hinder movement, or they can even buff you in certain ways. It's a lot of interaction. And it's not a traditional you go, I go kind of system. If anybody declares an attack against you, you can respond with any attack you have in your hand directly back at them. We'll go into a head-to-head die roll, and whoever comes out on top will get full damage and effects. So it's never just a thing of like, I play my attack, you take damage or kill a unit, flip turn, back and forth. It's always constant combat.
Okay.
That's what we want it to be from the very beginning. And also, thematically, we wanted to make sure that if you could see it in a robot anime, you could do it in the game. So all of the cards in the game, every single one is all capitalized, it's all exclamation points. Every single move is being screamed out loud. The currency to play your cards is your pilot's raw fighting spirit. So their heart in the battle gives you currency, and also whenever you take damage, you gain currency as well to play in cards. You can base it off your pilot's rage stat, which is one of our big kind of catch-up mechanics in the game. Whenever you take damage, you're going to react emotionally, and that's what's powering all of your attacks. So it's going to give you currency to play cards in exchange. So you can have situations where even if you were on the end of like a pretty brutal offense and you're taking hit after hit after hit, the attacker's resources are going to be going down and yours are going to be going up. So that if they're not able to kind of like finish the job and take you out in time, they're going to be left depleted and you're going to be left like raging out, full of resources, ready to hit them back even harder. So another unique element about the game is that whenever you play a card in it, it is never going to go away. It's not going to be discarded. What happens is that there is a cooldown value on every single card. And once it's played, it's going to go into your cooldown meter on your pilot and robot boards. And then at the end of each of your turns, it's going to cycle one spot over. So everything that's in the one slot in the cooldown meter will go back to your hand. So there's a big focus on what I like to refer to as the rhythm of your offense, and very specifically timing out your attacks and your tactics and your ultimate techniques. Because sometimes you're going to be like really eager to just like rush in and unleash a lot of like big, fat, cool attacks that are going to smash your opponent across the battlefield. But thinking about the way your opponents are going to respond, because they can respond to every single attack, or when they're the attacker, like what are you going to have to respond to them, creates a big focus on like when are you going to play these cards, and like when is the right time to like let something like a big high damage attack be lost into your cooldown meter for a few turns. And there's also ways to hinder your opponent's cooldown meters as well. We have different status effects that are all inflicted as tokens. They'll all enter into your cooldown meter as well. And one of them, for example, it's called a power surge, and it'll lock cards in place. So it's a mechanic that's fully integrated into every element of the game. What you can see right here is that these are some of the robot and pilot abilities you get to use. Every robot has 6 to choose from. You get to select 3. Every pilot has 3 abilities. You get to select 1. So really between all the cards, all of the robot abilities, you can have 2 players playing the same exact pilot and robot and literally have every detail of their build completely unique and different and personalized to them as players. And of course, every pilot and robot can mix and match. So between our core set, which is the 5 pilots and 4 robots, and our expansions, There's a total of 7 pilots and 6 robots to combine together, experiment with, and completely personalize until you find the one perfect build that's for you. We wanted to make sure that it did have that almost kind of collectible card game feeling of control and personalization, because we want it to be a thing where it's this is an expression of your creativity. You're entering into this game, and everything you've put into it, down to the very finest detail, is yours. Which I feel like you don't find in many miniatures games. You don't get to that level of kind of granular customization. Okay, so we're going to walk you through an example turn. Right now I'm playing with Noriko Nagare, who's my pilot, and Ogun, who's this big, massive bruiser. He's got these massive chain fists. He likes to control the movement of his opponents, pull them through buildings, smash them through other ones, and just use the battlefield against your opponent. So at the beginning of my turn, I've got my upkeep, which means I can choose to either gain Fighting Spirit, which is the currency to play my cards, or I can gain Power Tokens, which can be used to activate different robot abilities, or actually add extra dice to my attacks. Our die system is completely modular. These extra dice can add to the probability of success, or you can actually multiply damage and effects per successful die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Fighting Spirit. So Noriko Nagare lets me gain 6, so I'm going to go up to 18 Fighting Spirit. And now that my upkeep's done, I'm going to get into combat. I'm going to move Ogun, I'm going to jump across the city, and I am going to ideally grab my opponent, who's playing as Dairaijin V, who's this lightning-powered combo striker, and hopefully chain fist him through a building, and then German suplex him through another one. So I've got a speed of 5, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. So I'm between these 2 structures, and then I'm going to play a combo, which is something attacking players can do. They can put up to 3 different attacks together as a customized combo. It's going to be Burst Chain Black Hole Suplex. So it's going to cost me 6 to play. I'm going to go back down to 12. And then now that I've declared an attack against my opponent, they can respond with any attack in hand or an instant or an ability, and then we'll pass priority back and forth.
Right. I am definitely not going to just take the attack, so I'm going to respond by playing my pilot ability Hot Blooded, which will allow me to the end of this turn reduce the cost of all of my attack cards by 2, but my defense is reduced to nothing.
Cool. I'm going to respond. I'm going to use a power token. I'm going to activate Star Spanner, which is Ogun's massive wrench that he just uses to bash opponents across the battlefield.
Cost 3. I'm also going to spend 3 to do auxiliary charge to add an extra attack die to my next attack roll and add a power surge to myself.
Got no responses, so if you want to play another instant, it's all on you.
I'm also going to play charge, which will add +2 damage to my next attack. And if you're not going to do anything else, I will
pass priority.
Play Boltcaster, which is a counter attack, which will give me 3 attack dice.
And if he hits with this, per success, he's going to be able to throw me 1 hex, which could be through any of these structures. So I don't have no more instants or abilities to play, but I am going to dedicate 2 power tokens to add 2 extra dice to my roll, which is going to make my die pool currently a total of 4.
I will get it. Well, I'm going to get an extra die because I've got height advantage on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I will spend 2 power surges to create a barrier on myself. I want to have cover.
Okay.
So you lose a die.
Yeah, we'll reduce 1 die from my pool.
All right, and then I'll add 2 power dice.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. So now we're going to go to the roll. Got a pretty massive die pool versus mine. But a 12 and 11 are going to do pretty damn well here.
So my 11 cancels your 11.
Yeah. We go 1 for 1. We look for any tied dice that are removed from play. So our 11s are set aside. And we have a 1 that ties as well. But for this one, all I need right now is a single higher result, which is a 12. If I had any other dice that are higher than his highest, there'd be an additional success. But really, the 1 die going through is all I need. So we're going to resolve this. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to do 2 points of damage because we've got Star Spanner activated. And I'm going to get to pull you to a hex adjacent to me. Ready for this to happen?
Can I do one last thing to avoid a little bit of damage?
Not in range of that.
Yeah, 1 to 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it'll just soak a little bit of damage for me, but I'm going to give us both 3 power surges. 3 for you.
Yep. So any of these tokens, these are reflecting the different status effects in the game. They'll always go in your cooldown meter, and they'll flow through your cooldown meter with your cards, so that automatically times them out.
And then I'm going to spend 2 of those to give myself an active barrier, so I'll avoid the first 3 damage you deal to me.
Okay. If they did damage to you, your static barrier is going to go away. Cover has been broken. And then I'm going to reel you through, pulling you through this structure behind me first, because it gets you into adjacent hex. So this is going to get blown up, and then you're going to draw an impact card. We're going to find out what happens.
Ooh, I collided, then there's a debris barrage. The force of the impact fires out of the rune's steel girders like bullets, which tear through everything in their path. At a level 1 building, I will take 3 damage, which is now sunk by my barrier.
Yep.
And it creates rubble at my feet. Destroy all adjacent structures and static barriers, and all adjacent robots take 3 damage, including you.
So there's such a massive impact from this. I'm actually going to take some damage as well, so I can take my armor down. And then it's going to also blow up this structure next to it. The rubble is going to reduce movement. It's going to cost extra movement to exit out of, but he can also gain extra defense when he's on top of it. But now that this building next to us has also been blown up, we have to draw another impact card. We're going to find out what other massive destruction has occured. So it'll just be the bottom here because of the destruction.
It's going to create an inferno and a crater. So a burning hot crater of fire right next to me here.
Yeah.
Massive chaos and destruction.
Yes.
And the crater is going to be -1 elevation, but also, yeah, if you're inside of that crater as well, you'd be taking fire damage. So that was just the first part of the combo. Now I get to resolve the second part, Black Hole Suplex, which I'm going to get to throw you to one other adjacent hex.
Oh, good.
Now it's going to be back into this building. So I'm going to flip you over my head, smash you through. We're going to find out what happens from this impact.
This one's a coolant depot. Dozens of canisters of sub-zero liquid spill across your frame, bringing your overheated systems back online. Remove all cards and fire from your cooldown meter. And X equals the amount of power surges in my cooldown meter. I'm going to take from a tier 1 building.
It's tier 1.
X plus 1. So there's 1 power surge in my meter, plus 1, so it's going to be 2 damage from that. Right.
And this is actually reflecting some of the positive effects that can happen. Because of like the narrative quality of the impact cards in this case, his coolant depot explodes and it actually just accelerates his entire cooldown meter, and he's going to be able to get all of his cards out of it. So there are some rare effects in the impact deck that can actually help you, including some of them are weapons, where you can pull wreckage out of the building's ruins and then use it against your opponent. And it's also going to create a flood underneath you, which is going to cost you even more extra movement to get out of. But if he starts his turn there, he can actually accelerate his cooldown meter as well. So then you'll take another 1 damage on top of all that, or another 2 actually, because the Star Spanner. The cards I just played go to my cooldown meter, and that is an example of an attack.
Forgot the rage I get.
Oh yeah, wait. So now Takashi, who's this fiery-hearted street fighter, massive rage of 8, which means he can get 8 fighting spirit just from being damaged. So even though I did a ton of damage from him, we just destroyed 3 buildings in a really rather beautifully explosive fashion. Because he took damage, he's now ready to get right back into the fight.
Yeah, thank you for the quick demo there. So what is the average play time?
The average playtime, if 2 players are sitting down learning how to play the game right out of the box, average playtime is about 1.5 hours. We have quick start guides on the back of all the pilot and robot boards, so you can literally just see like, oh, this robot looks cool. Look in the back, collect all the parts for them, and then jump right in. 2 players who then know how to play the game, average playtime is 45 minutes. You'll be entering into battle with everything customized. You know what's going to be in your build, and that gets things moving really briskly. But then the game is also 2 to 6 players with expansions, and we have multiplayer modes. You can do free-for-all or team play. Cool thing about our team play mode is that there's no player elimination. If your robot goes down, all you do is you basically eject your pilot. You get rid of your robot board and your cards. You choose a teammate's robot to co-pilot, and then you're going to be able to get all of their resources together and both play cards together. And then it creates some pretty cool new synergies. 45 minutes for 1v1. With each extra player, it's about 30 extra minutes. And then we're hitting stores with the core set, which is going to give you the 5 pilots and 4 robots, all the structures, everything you need to play the game, and then the 2 launch expansions that are each an additional robot and pilot each. The core set is $114.95, and each expansion is $24.95.
Okay. And so you're hitting stores with that. Where else can people find more information or buy the products?
They can go to Giga-Robo.com. We have all the product up for sale there. And they can reach out to us through there. We're also on Facebook at Play Giga-Robo, on Twitter, Instagram. You can reach out to us through any of those social media platforms.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Alex, for your time.
Thanks, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.